To get ahead, organizations initiate processes for growth, competitiveness, and future readiness. At the Nigerian Ports Authority, we are doing the same. We are people-centric and focused on providing an enabling environment at all Nigerian ports. The competencies of our staff are being deepened, more technology infused into operations, and an aggressive equipment and infrastructural renewal is ongoing.
Creating capacity and efficiency. We're also ensuring safety within the navigational channels. We're ensuring that we deploy the right equipment. We're upgrading all the equipment for marine services like tugboats, pilot cutters, mooring boats, and so on and so forth.
A port training institute has been established and equipped to international certification standards to guard against skill deficits. The bridge simulator within the same facility has also been expanded. In keeping with the international conventions on shore leave for seafarers, we recently reconstructed and equipped the Mission to Seafarers facility in Lagos as the best of its kind within the region. The MTS is a global index of port rating.
Seafarers suffer a lot of psychological trauma. They leave the family for months, and anytime they get to a place, they want to have some kind of comfort. So this is a facility that tries to address those possibilities. We look forward to our friends and the colleagues from the other states of the continent to come and see the hospitality of Nigeria.
The Nigerian Ports Authority leverages on technology. All our payment processes, traffic management, domain awareness, and harbor processes are automated. We are in collaboration with the International Maritime Organization, IMO, for the development of the Port Community System, PCS, which is at the last consultancy phase under the technical guidance of the International Maritime Organization. The Port Community System lays the groundwork for the National Single Window, a sector-specific automated system for seamless information exchange between agencies with interests at the seaports. It is a global benchmark of port efficiency.
We've gone ahead to improve communication by creating signal stations at various locations within the country. This is to ensure ease of communication between our harbors department, our pilots, and then the incoming vessels coming into our waterways and into our ports. We're also deploying the VTS, which is the vessel tracking system. And once you do that, it means there is better monitoring of vessels. There will be, security, you can be sure of that, and so on and so forth.
Since port sustainability is dependent on quality infrastructure and equipment, the authority is at conclusive stages of securing approval for the $1 billion funding for the reconstruction of Tin Can Island Port and comprehensive rehabilitation of all other ports in the country. New ports are also being developed. The Lekki Deep Sea Port is both Nigeria's first deep sea port and the first fully automated port at takeoff. The development of Badagry Deep Sea Port, Ondo Deep Sea Port, Snake Island Port, and Burutu Port in Delta State are ongoing following the approval of the Federal Executive Council, FEC.
To ensure that we improve efficiency, we make our ports more competitive. And then naturally that hub status now starts coming in. All of a sudden, you're going to start having vessels coming into the country with transit cargo that will be offloaded at our ports and then transshipped into other neighboring countries.
Our unflinching dedication to the provision of an enabling environment for quality work has earned us recognition as a Platinum Level 5 organization from the Bureau for Public Service Reform's 2023 Evaluation of Government Agencies. We are also improving operational performance, tightening revenue collection mechanisms, plugging leakages, and recovering debts. As a result, the agency has witnessed a steady leap in income in the last 3 years. 317 billion naira revenue was generated in 2020, 333.5 billion naira in 2021, and 361 billion naira in 2022. Remittances into the Consolidated Revenue Fund (CRF) of the federal government also soared from 80 billion naira in 2020 to 93.4 billion naira at the end of 2022. With about 100 billion naira already contributed between January to October, the Nigerian Ports Authority will surpass the sum realized in the previous years by the end of 2023. We are not resting on our oars. The Nigerian Ports Authority is looking beyond sole dependence on revenue from core port operations and public-private partnerships in the areas of 1. Port independent power production, 2. Bunkering stations, 3. fallow land for logistics or real estate, 4. freshwater provision, 5. ship repairs and maintenance, 6. tourism and hospitality, to mention a few. We are committed to maximizing partnerships that explore and utilize the opportunities inherent in the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, within the region.
We expect that by the end of this conference, that every single port will go away with a template or a framework that will tie into the ACFA agenda for the benefit of the sub-region.
We've given all that is necessary to ensure a very successful summit. By the ministry, we've done what we need to do to ensure that people are very hospitable when they come around and they have a lasting memory of their presence in Nigeria.
Beautiful presentation from Nigerian Ports Authority and how they are deploying technology and making the most of the blue economy for Nigeria. I think if there's one of the things that we must commend our current president for is giving us this Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, giving attention to the blue economy as it deserves. Let's give the NPA one more applause of appreciation. We're going to go on now to some goodwill messages from sister organizations who are in the room. First off, we're taking a journey to the Ports Management Association of East and Southern Africa. Speaking to us briefly from there is the Chief Executive Officer of Namibia Ports. Please let's welcome Mr. Kanime.
Director of Proceedings, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, please do allow me to stand on the protocol that has already been established by the Director of Proceedings in order to avoid leaving out some of our honorable members present. A very good morning to you all. As indicated earlier, my name is Andrew Kanime. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibian Ports Authority, and we are the national ports operator in Namibia, currently responsible for overseeing the management of 2 ports, also abbreviated as NPA, our sister port authority in Nigeria. However, today I stand before you in a different capacity. It is my honor and privilege, Director of Ceremonies, to represent the Port Management Association of Eastern and Southern Africa, or as we are commonly known, PMAWCA, and of course our board chairperson, Mr. Pepi Slinga, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Transnet National Ports Authority in South Africa, to address this August occasion of the 18th Managing Directors Roundtable Conference, which is part of the 43rd PMAWCA Council meeting being held here in Lagos, Nigeria. I extend my profound gratitude and PMAWCA greetings to PMAWCA and of course the Secretary General, Mr. Jean-Marie Kofi, for the opportunity and honor to attend this auspicious conference. We are also deeply grateful to the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for hosting this conference. It is through these consistent engagements, interactions, and collaborations that Africa can further cement the ties amongst its sister nations and of course firm its place amongst the greatest continents on Mother Earth. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is common cause that transport and logistics is the lifeblood of global trade and economic development. It is at the core of every nation's capacity to effectively and timeously access raw materials and inputs for its productive requirements and to be able to convey its produce to the global markets. Regrettably, most African countries feature amongst those with the highest transportation and logistic costs and prolonged trade turnaround times in comparison to the rest of the world. It has long been held that a 10% increase in transport cost reduces volumes of trade by as much as 20%. What that therefore amounts to, ladies and gentlemen, is that the high cost of logistics are reducing the competitiveness of Africa's goods on the global markets, and as a direct consequence, stifling demand and production, and ultimately, obviously, working against trade and economic growth in our continent. Africa's poor competitiveness globally is often further attributed to the quality of institutions, infrastructure, macroeconomic policies, education, and technological adoption. Where still the persistent infrastructure deficit and non-tariff barriers are a major obstruction to regional integration and facilitation of the smooth movement and interchange of goods across land borders. Hence, this obviously calls for the development of suitable and efficient infrastructure systems, as well as harmonization of trade policies to eliminate these barriers and catalyze intra-Africa trade and growth. Current regional economic growth trends also require a corresponding growth in infrastructure and the efficiency in utilization to cater for both current and future demand. Addressing supply-side constraints, especially infrastructure, will therefore ensure accelerated regional integration and growth. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, maritime transport accounts for up to 90% of global trade, therefore accentuating the urgent need to direct focus and meaningful investments to enhance the capacity and efficacy of this subsector. Maritime ports remain the gateway for cargo to and from global markets, as they are the interfaces between land and maritime transport. It is encouraging to note the great, both ongoing and completed port projects which are aimed at increasing capacity and efficiencies in various African ports. However, developments in physical infrastructure, while obviously critical to enhancing regional connectivity and improving productivity, are incomplete, if not totally futile, without the critical complement of harmonized trade policies and efficiencies of utilization in order to minimize or eliminate bottlenecks that might cause delays and underutilization of these critical resources. In view of the mandate of PMAWCA, which is to improve port and transport industry efficiencies, trade and transport facilitation, and dovetailing obviously with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement programs, it is imperative for our two sister organizations, PMAWCA and PMAWCA, to align our activities. This is specifically with regard to the harmonization of activities and policies which relate to transportation, logistics, operation of corridors, ports, and harbors. In this regard, and incidentally, PMAWCA, in partnership with the government of the Republic of Kenya and other institutional partners, are holding the Africa Maritime Cabotage and Blue Economy Conference under the theme, Unlocking the African Continental Free Trade Area Potential by Rethinking Maritime Cabotage and Blue Economy for Improved Connectivity. The conference, taking place from the 8th to the 10th of November in Mombasa, will reflect on the importance and urgency of developing and implementing a coherent and coordinated strategy for promoting maritime cabotage and blue economy in Africa, especially in the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to boost intra-Africa trade, particularly trade in value-added production and trade across all sectors of Africa's economy. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the 18th Managing Directors Roundtable Program is testament to the key and diverse, yet importantly, common issues of relevance to the African maritime transport and logistics subsector. Without doubt, the program and the eminent participants are also an affirmation that we have the appropriate focus and aptitude to formulate solutions and strategies to take the maritime subsector forward. It rests on all our shoulders to craft solutions which will contribute towards the development of sustainable transport systems, the reduction in the cost of doing business, the streamlining of trade processes, and the enhancement of efficiencies and turnaround times through our ports and, of course, through our trade corridors on the continent. I have the conviction that the resultant competitiveness will drive the demand for Africa's products and commodities, spur production across all sectors, increase economic growth, and uplift Africa's population out of poverty. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Better still, no one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to sing it. On behalf of the PMAWCA Board Chairperson, I take this opportunity to reaffirm PMAWCA's commitment to its collaboration with PMAWCA under the Pan-African Port Cooperation Apex Organization and wish you productive deliberations. I thank you for your kind attention and the opportunity to be present.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanime, Chief Executive Officer of Namibia Ports Authority, and speaking here today representing the Port Management Association of East and Southern Africa. Together we can do so much, he ends saying that. Thank you so much. Can we please give him another round of applause? Before I proceed, I'd like to acknowledge the... Can you hear me? HOH, please. I'm struggling to hear myself. I don't know why. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Director General, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Dr. Mohammed Bulama, as well as the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal and Compliance, Honorable Barrister Bashir Meidugu. A warm welcome to all of you, both of you, to this event. I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Commissioner of Housing and Environment of Yobe State, Honorable Ak Ahmed Buba. Warm welcome and thank you for your kind presence this morning. Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Having listened to a sister agency from East and Southern Africa, we're going to go over now swiftly to another sister organization. This time, they are responsible for ensuring that the ships that call on your ports are safe and they are efficient enough to carry the duties for which your port requires them. It is a goodwill from the Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control for West and Central African Region. Captain Sunday Umorin is the Secretary General. He's unable to join us. Representing him, let's welcome Engineer Richard Owolabi.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, CON. You're welcome, sir. The Chairman of PMAWCA, the Managing Director of Nigerian Ports Authority, and please allow me to stand on existing and established protocols. I am representing the Secretary General of Abuja MOU, also known as Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control for West and Central Africa region. He is unavailability absent. This goodwill message from Captain Sunday Michael Umoren sent to this 43rd meeting, council meeting of the Port Management Association of West and Central African region. I am sincerely delighted to be here today, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 43rd PMAWCA Annual Council meeting and roundtable conference involving key stakeholders from the ports management sector of our great continent. This important council meeting gives us a rare opportunity to look at the technicalities and approaches to discuss the role of ports in the African continental free trade area. There is also need for port authorities and maritime administrations in this region to continue to cooperate with one another and work closely together. And that is why we are very much appreciated for being invited here. Noting the involvement of Abuja MOU in the eradication of substandard ships in the West and Central African region, we hereby encourage port authorities to work in synergy with port state control officers in our maritime administrations. These port state control officers are those who go on board foreign ships calling at our various ports, national ports, to inspect and ascertain compliance with safe, secure, and environmentally related international conventions and regulations. The mandate of the MOUs covers risk mitigation and consequently reducing the exposure as port state control officers identify and eradicate substandard ships that will hamper trade and development and further erode the benefits for blue economy in the region. Maritime administrations in our region are expected to ensure that flag vessels, vessels that are registered within the region, work in synergy with port authorities in the country. Port authorities are encouraged to be aware of the roles of port state control officers in the maritime administrations and encourage their harbor masters to work closely with port state control officers in our various member states. The Abuja MOU Secretariat will continue to work with PMAWCA as intergovernmental organizations to empower their respective maritime administrations and port authorities to grow the maritime industry so as to foster trade and development, noting the fact that a safe, secure maritime domain is required to promote trade. I want to commend PMAWCA members and observers, port authorities here present, as well as other government and private sector stakeholders in their role in promoting trade and investment in Africa. Finally, may I draw your most esteemed attention to the planned workshop that the Abuja MOU Secretariat has in place for port authorities captioned the role of port authorities in the effectiveness of port state control regime. We are ready to conduct these sessions with your various countries and states at no cost, except in mustering your teams and arranging the meeting venue. Do feel free to approach the Abuja MOU Secretariat or your respective administrations in your respective countries to arrange for the training in 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a fruitful deliberations here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for your kind attention, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for presenting Abuja MOU. Moving on swiftly now, we will take a goodwill from the Chief Operating Officer of Lekki Deep Sea Port. Let's welcome Mr. Lawrence Smith.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to welcome the Honourable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, the Managing Director of Nigerian Ports Authority, the Council of the PMAWCA, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, and standing on assisting protocols as established. Good morning once again. On behalf of the shareholders, Board of Directors and the management of Lekki Port Enterprise Limited, we congratulate the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa on this auspicious occasion of the 43rd Council and 18th Managing Directors Roundtable Exhibition, Themed Ports and the African Continental Free Trade Area. We commend the Association's efforts as a frontliner in promotion of sustainable socio-economic development over 20 years of over 20 West and Central African countries using maritime as a common linkage for unification. Even more commendable is the fact you have kept this initiative vibrant for 18 years, which demonstrates a strong sense of responsibility and commitment to the development and strengthening of maritime and port affairs. We are delighted to be part of this annual year-end conference that presents a wonderful opportunity to interact with management, directors and experts from such diverse backgrounds to further strengthen the role of ports in accelerating trade integration in the sub-region. We trust that the deliberations and conclusions reached during this event will be valuable input on the role of ports in the ongoing implementation of the African Continental Free Trade. Congratulations to the Council, Board of Directors and Secretariat of the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa team. Well done to the Nigerian Ports Authority for hosting this event. We wish you a fruitful and successful roundtable and exhibition. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smith, Chief Operating Officer of the Lekki Deep Sea Port.